Howdy, y'all. My name is A.R. Kavli. Welcome back to my channel. As we're going to try another to hopefully maybe more, but we're going to try at least get one more hex going. All right, so using our rules here, one thing that on the advancement thing, the rules for the solo play, you don't get an experience points for attending the session, which makes sense because it's day by day instead of session by session. So I went and reduced the experience points that I had received previously. So to start the day, where we left off, they had it opened up the tomb of an ancient dwarf king. A fire demon ran out, and they let him run away because they didn't want any piece of him, and they left. There's a dwarven chronicler named Brunhilder, and she was about 5 minutes of my audio cut out again on me at the end of that last session. And it was basically her complaining that she could not read any of the runes because the demon, in his anger, had tried to destroy everything he could. He's, smashed the skeletons, and the only thing they couldn't actually break through was the tomb of the king, the sarcophagus of the king. So he did everything else. He was able to like burn and scratch away at the runes on the outside, and so she was unable to get much of what she wanted to do, the research, because that demon had been in there for a while and smashed everything he could. So now we're going to go through our morning routine, shuffle the deck, and use the XP question prompts during the XP from the previous day. All right, so as we go down our experience questions, did you participate in the game session? We're not doing that one because we're doing solo. Did you travel through at least one hex? Yes, we did make one hex. Did you discover a new adventure site? I'm gonna say yes, just because even though there's only the one room, we did explore the ruins of this wall. So I'm gonna say yes on that one. Did you defeat one or more monsters? No. I'm not going to count watching the fire demon run off into the distance as defeating him. They survived, but that's different. And did we find a treasure, 1 gold or more? Yes. We found the gold buckle, which was worth, I think, 3. Or no, it was worth 14 silver, which means that it's worth what, 10 silver equal 1 gold, so that's one more. And we didn't do any of those 3 things, so 3 experience points. I don't know. I'm kind of rethinking the adventure site. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with my gut and say that counts that. So Lennox gets himself some XP. And I think maybe he does not have survival. but I think it's probably a good time to maybe start trying to learn. And since his sidekick, Zell, has survival at level 2 even, he can learn that. So I think we're going to maybe not right away. I mean, they have only been out for a couple of days, but he's going to start learning survival craft. He's used to traveling and he knows how to set up camp and everything, but he's going back into a lot wilder lands than he's used to traveling for his trades. So that will that will be he's spending his time doing that. Just to throw that out there for the story. All right, now we're going to roll our 3 dice for weather and stuff. So today's weather is 4, 1, and 4. I think that's all pretty much going to be plain. Let's see. I keep forgetting where that darn weather table is. No. Getting close. It's up there. I keep forgetting where it's bookmarked. Here it is. All right. So it's under weather. Camps. Okay. All right. So 4 is a breeze. 1 is clear skies. +1 to lead the way. And 4 is pleasant. So for lead the way rolls, we get a +1. And hopefully I can remember that. All right, where are we? So we're going to head north. And I think what we're going to do is we're just going to randomly generate a village. Maybe leave the adventure sites from Raven's Purge for other days. So Zell's going to make his lead the way roll with a +1. All right. No. I think as a companion, yeah, I don't think he needs to. He's not gonna push the roll. He doesn't gather willpower or anything anyway. I know normal NPCs, the GM can have them push the roll, but I don't think we will for him. So we're just going to go to journeys, lead the way. Everyone's hiking with a lead the way failure. Every time you enter a new hexagon, make a survival roll modified by Pathfinder talent. Success means you find a viable path. Failure means that you still enter the hexagon, but you suffer a mishap and must immediately roll on the next page. So let's give ourselves a D66 roll. Zell. 4 and a 3. Downpour. A massive rainfall or snowstorm, we'll say rainfall, catches you unaware. You must roll for the effects of cold. You You must also seek shelter until the storm has passed and won't make any progress on the map during this quarter day. Oh, that's kind of a drag. But in every life, some rain must fall. Okay, so we seek shelter until the storm is past. So maybe they'll end up having to. I wonder if maybe they'll get close to that village. All right, so first we'll start with cold, which is on page 111. It says, when the cold is bitter and you don't have enough shelter, you have to roll endurance regularly. The colder it is, more frequently you roll. All right, so I'm just going to say a single roll. You know, we actually do have a blanket, at least for one of them. Extra protection, like a blanket, can give you gear dice to roll. If you fail your roll, you become cold. All right, so this is an endurance roll. And I think in this case, I'm not gonna roll for Zell. I don't want to keep track of his status, I think. I may change my mind next time, but I think for now we're just gonna go with our main guy, and pretty much if he gets cold, the other guy's gonna get cold. So he's gonna get an endurance roll. Okay, which he actually has, so that's good. And they have a blanket. Someone has a blanket. He had a blanket. Zell has a blanket. And we'll say they're sharing the blanket. That'll give him... What is it, +1? Well, where did I put it? I put that blanket somewhere. I think it's just +1. I thought I put on the horse. Oh, okay. I did put it there. I just did not put it. So I think it's +1. +1 gear die. Do they get cold? Okay, nope. So they are able to keep from getting cold in this downpour thanks to their blanket, and maybe they hastily use part of the tent to keep the to hold up like a tarp until they find some shelter. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to use some of these playing card oracles. That's because I want to. And the question I'm going to put forward, are they close enough to this village that's on the map? Let's see, which oracle theme? Maybe a yes/no oracle, but let's explore our oracles a little bit. All right, so just to say that just so I can say that I have used the card yes/no oracle, even though I will be, as I stated previously, using dice oracles instead. For those kind of things, I'll go ahead and use the use the dice or the card oracle. Let's shuffle our cards. Shuffle, shuffle. Shuffle. We shuffle them twice. I don't think that really helps, but all right, let's see what we got. Oh, Jack of clubs. So the question is, are we close enough? Generally, I was thinking the higher the card result would be, the closer they were when this downpour started. And maybe that's, maybe that's why they didn't get sick here. Face card, yes, but with some complication. Or no, it's black suit. No, and some complication. All right, so they did not. They're not close enough to the village. So I think what the complication is we're going to pull an encounter card up here. And we'll see that maybe whatever the encounter is, if there's any, maybe they decided not to hunker down in the storm. So let's see what our next card is. Two of clubs. So that is going to be random encounter table. All right, so previously I decided that red was going to be the base game because it has a red book, even though that's the player's book instead of the GM's book. But black was the Book of Beasts Black, so we're going to roll D66 in the Book of Beasts random encounter table. I had I had this little, because sometimes when I'm away, I imagine conversations or events, or just kind of ponder the storyline from time to time. And I had the idea that Zell was going to suggest they ask the dwarf, since she's a chronicler, if she knew anything about this place that they're looking for, and if she might be interested in coming. I had planned that right up until I forgot to do that. Maybe that's the complication. Maybe the storm came and she left before they got up. Maybe she knew there's coming. So we'll see what the encounter roll is and determine from there. Maybe the encounter roll will be better suited for some kind of complication, as an inspiration for complication. 4 and a 3. Well, that might be high enough. Random encounters. All right, so we're still, I would say we're still in the, yeah, say we're still in plains. I should probably get a better map that I can zoom in on, but yeah, we'll keep that with as a plains event. Plains for 3. All right, 11. A dwarven runestone. Oh, maybe the wall. Maybe we're kind of following this wall to keep in the theme of what was it? I think 6 Garam's wall. Well, whatever dwarf king was, I think it was Garam. A large rock carved with runes protrudes from the ground on a nearby hilltop. The runes are colored in shades of red and encircled by ornate loops that look a lot like dragon tails. These are dwarven runes and can be read by someone with a successful lore roll. Let's see. Okay, so I won't even bother trying to read what that says. I skimmed it, but let's see if he can make a lore roll. Yeah, this would have been something useful for her. Lennox, having a little downpour outside my own window here. All right. Okay, so he doesn't know. I'm not sure why that that thing rolls. I only told it to roll 3 die, but the automatic dice roller is like throwing 27 of them out there. Well, maybe I should just ignore them anyway, because I don't think they. I mean, they're obviously not the Forbidden Lands dice. Oh well, I think it's amusing to see 72 dice roll across the screen when I roll. And this, I don't know, it doesn't seem like this would really be one to push a roll. And I guess he could, but we're just going to go on and say that nothing, they don't read it. And in fact, I think I'm not even going to read it. I'm not going to go drive and finish that paragraph. Just for my own sake, I can use it again. Maybe I will play it in a different campaign. All right, so they make no further progress for the rest of that quarter hour until the rain moves on. So how do we determine if the rain moves on? Does it say? No, that's hunting, foraging. Okay. Downpour. We must also seek shelter until the storm has passed and won't make any progress on the map during this quarter day. Okay, I think let's use our, we have a random table, but we also have a little encounter, or not an encounter, but an oracle here that is a wilderness oracle. Let's see what it gives us. It's another card. Oh, a joker. I think I'm supposed to take those out. So, but I'm not going to right now. We'll just ignore it. Queen of Diamonds. Queen of Diamonds in plains and forests. Ah, a huge tree. Okay, so we will say that um, they're they see the stone up on a hill as they are traveling along, and they go up and they look around carefully, not wanting to get ambushed, of course. That's always one of Lennox's big fears, that he's going to get ambushed. So he takes a good look around, but he doesn't see anything up. He doesn't see anything approaching. But as he's trying to read it and piece things out, but he can't make out the inscription, and then this sudden squall blows in off of the lake and just downpour. They get down the hill as best they can before it gets too wet and too muddy. And there's a large tree nearby. They get Part of the reason they didn't get cold, they didn't get soaked, is because the tree is nearby. They got wet, but they managed to get under this tree, and they used their tent to make a quick lean-to. and they just sit there under their tent for the rest of the day. So I'm going to record that. All right, so does it carry on? How long does this storm carry on? How long do they have to keep shelter? I'm going to just go ahead and draw a card. The higher, the longer the storm lasts. Well, that's about as high as you can get. And it looks like these cards are exceptional, yes, exceptional, no. So ace is the maybe I should use this. Okay, you may wish to know how hazardous. Okay, so I think in this case I'll use the helpful hazardous oracle, and using the suits of cards. That's a red, so that's helpful. So I think that's going to be a helpful result from the storm. We'll say it just blows through quickly, and as they gather their stuff up, the smell of the rain is so fresh, and they are able to, as they get up and gather, they see the village. They come across as they're traveling north, looking for the next path, and they see the village. Now, to be honest, Lennox, he doesn't, they're not starving or anything yet. He's not wanting to stop at every village and manor and castle they come across. But we are going to use our handy village generator by Lupex. I think it's by Lupex. Oh well. So I'm gonna roll it. I'm gonna generate it. We'll see if there's anything that would really draw their attention to it. Okay, so it's an outpost, a very small outpost. It's ruled by an eccentric despot. Okay. Famous for hidden riches and inbreeding, and has 0 main institutions. Okay. So this little thing, he's not really interested in stopping by at all. In fact, with 13 inhabitants, I don't even know if I'm going to bother putting that on the map. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to. So we're going to try to cross that river. Let's see, do they want to cross or do they want to follow along? There might be if there is like a convenient ford nearby the village. It's probably within sight of the village, but they will. Yeah, they'll just go on. They'll look for their own path forward and try to cross. So I think we'll have I'll have Zell use a survival, maybe an extra lead the way roll. I'm not sure if that's exactly how it's supposed to go, but it seems reasonable. Okay. So they managed to find a way across the river with the, there's my 72 dice. With the help of Chauncey the horse, they're able to lash goods, and Chauncey's a strong horse. They are able to kind of hang on to him as he forces through the water and keeps everyone afloat in the few times where they lose traction with the bottom. And after a exhausting time across, they do get to the other side though. And aside from the storm, it's supposed to be a gentle day. Oh, and a +1 for lead the way. So I need to remember that. All right, so that was to get across. Now they're in the new hex. Yeah, I do kind of need to get a better map. All right, so we're in the new hex, and now he needs to make another survival roll for the lead the way. What do we get? Okay, excellent. So there is no getting lost, no further downpours. We're crossing into a new hex. So according to our Book of Beasts, we draw a card. We draw our card. And whenever you enter a new hex, draw a card, consult the table below. All right, 8 of clubs. That makes it an encounter in the beast or in the Book of Beasts. I think that's right. Yeah, 2 through 10 random encounter Book of Beasts. So we roll a D66. 2 and a 2. I think that's going to be, I think that's clear. And I believe we'll go ahead and, yeah, 2-2 is going to be clear for everything except the forest. I would say this would be a lake or a shoreline, but it's not broken up that way. So we have no encounter for the first day. Let's go ahead and make our next roll as we go across another hex. Let's see, which way should we go? Now we'll just go north. Keep going north, kind of following the shoreline to help us not get lost. All right, let's see. I'm having a little trouble seeing those hexes. All right, so that's a hex. That's a hex. So it looks that hex would actually be there. All right, so the next hex would still be plain, and if the encounter or whatever has anything to do, we'll roll with the shoreline for a river, depending on what options it gives us. But first, Zell must once again roll. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're not pushing that one in any case. So looks like something not so great is going to happen. It might be okay. We'll see. But definitely a failure. Let's see what our failure D66 is. 1 and a 3. Blocked terrain. The way forward is blocked by rocks, fallen trees, thick shrubbery, or flooding. All right, so we'll say that part of, yeah, it makes sense. That downpour came and it flooded that river, and the way forward that we were going to go, that whole area is flooded, and we really have to struggle to get through, pulling the horse again, trying to get through the water. So you must make a roll of might or move to be able to move forward. If you fail, you suffer 1 point of damage to strength and must roll again. All right, you won't make any progress on the map during this quarter day. I guess that means, yeah, I guess that means if you fail the roll. Lennox, he actually has move, I think. Yeah, he's got move. Does he have might? He might have might. Let's see. So move is 3 and a 1, so the same. Well, the same, except move is a reduced chance of getting any bad dice rolls. Let's see. I don't know, the horse might help since it is heavier, or since it's taller and it's a strong horse because Chauncey is a war horse. But I think leading the horse is probably going to be as difficult as it will be helpful. So we'll just balance that out as they try to move forward. Can you move forward? Yeah, these guys are just soaked. Okay, so you know what? I think this is one where he could push. I think he could push this one. It'll finally give him some willpower. Yeah, I think he's going to try to push it. So that's going to reduce that to 2 as we take out that skill, or not that attribute die, and got to push it. Holy smokes. Okay, so he's taken, oof. He's freaking broken. So, well. Now I'm not really sure how that plays out because he did get a success, but he got 3. He took 3 agility, so he's broken agility wise, and I guess he gets 3 willpower, so that works at least. He got 3 willpower. If he ever gets his bag of holding, he can pull all sorts of stuff out of it. um, all right, so this is how I think we'll play it. They got past the flooding, but as they're getting through, he's struggling. As they get up on the other side, they're trying to get the horse, they're trying to get everything, and he gets swept away. Right when they get across, he gets swept away and trapped under some fallen trees. And if anyone's ever gone kayaking in a somewhat swift river, and it's easy to get sucked under those trees. So he gets sucked under the trees, and he's struggling. Zell is splashing in the water, trying to get to him, but he's just moving so fast. He can't. He tries to get on the horse. The horse is exhausted, and Lennox finally, bedraggled and sputtering and coughing, finally manages to pull himself out of the river and into a big puddle into a big muddy bank and barely manages the last of his strength to pull himself far enough out of the still swiftly moving water from the deluge, from the downpour, that it stops wanting to pull him back farther down the river back towards the lake, right? Because that river comes from the mountains and is would be going towards the lake. So they do actually get across. They get into. Do they get into the next hex? No, I think at this point he's so exhausted that they're not. Even though he passed the roll, the move roll to move forward, he's broken and he can't go any further. So we'll treat it like a failure basically. But they did get across it, so they don't have to worry about trying to get across it anymore, and not having to worry about falling into the river, getting flooded because they're trapped on the far side. But they get across and they're exhausted. He strips his clothes off while Zell actually starts making the setting up camp basically, because, well, he's done. Lennox is done. Lennox is done for the done for the day. All right. So I'm going to actually I'm going to pause here for a second and go and look up exactly what that means. And I love these books. I love these books. And if I were just playing, if I weren't playing solo, I'd use these books for everything because I love having physical books. Hmm. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. All right, so it looks like the he's broken. He can't do anything else. And Zell is going to, because it's an agility roll, because agility, Zell is going to try to make a healing test for him. And they don't really have anything, just to get him back on his feet. And that way he can help, and then they'll both rest and sleep and everything. Or at least that's the plan. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, healing. Okay, so that's good. Lennox. Zell warms him up and pats him. He finds a little flask or something that he was carrying for a little nip of warmth, and Lennox, after resting and drying off, he fortunately, even though there was the deluge, the downpour, it is a nice day, right? It is a regular day, clear skies. Well, except for that time when when it wasn't and nearly washed everybody away. But so he's out there just laying naked on the grass with his clothes drying, and with the help of Zell, he manages to. After a while, he finally stands up and. Oh, that about did me in. I'm too old to be swimming across rivers like that. That was close. But you did good. You feel you can move? Feel you can help set up? Tell you what, I'll set up camp. You just keep watch. All right. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. So he stays undressed for a little while as his clothes are still drying and he's enjoying drying out. And Zell's just going to do the camp setup. And he's going to watch. I think we'll head over to our Book of Beasts and let's see what's nearby here. Let's see. Let's draw ourselves a card. King of Clubs. Let's see what the King of Clubs terrain detail is. We are. I'll say we're waterway and shorelines. All right, so King of Clubs, a wooden dock. Is there a boathouse? Is there a boathouse by this dock? I'm going to assume. Well, let's see. Is it abandoned? So this would have to be up the river a ways. I'm going to say on a 1 through 4, it's abandoned. Okay, so it is abandoned. And is there a building? I'm gonna say that only on a 5 or a 6 that there's a building because this is probably some kind of abandoned. If there's no one there, it's probably from some old hut or something that may have fallen around. So on a 5 or a 6, there is some small outbuilding or something remaining. Okay, a 4. So there's no building that they can see, but there is the outline of the remains, like the some of the stones around the bottom of what used to be maybe some kind of fisherman's shack or maybe some kind of smuggler's dock or something. They have no idea. But the dock itself, now that the water has receded, how strong is the dock? What shape? The higher the card, the better the shape. Or actually, I'll use the oracle. I'll use the card oracle for the usefulness, the helpful hazard. Is it helpful or hazardous? Three. So that's probably not going to be very helpful. No, okay, it's neutral. So it is not. It's not in great shape, but it's in good enough shape for them to set up a good rest on. They're able to use it as part of their camp site. So Lennox is now going to make camp. Okay, so he's able to make camp. He sets up the tent, and he manages to gather lots of wood for a good fire. And um, the dock itself, it's in good enough shape. It's not muddy, unlike the rest of the bank and everything from the recent flooding. So it actually works as a good place for them to set up. And while he's setting up, the Lennox is keeping watch, but nothing happens. Okay. And overnight, they rest And he gets his Lennox. Gets all of his agility pack. As they rest, the soothing melody of the water as it flows by beneath them and around them, the occasional splash, the calming frogs and their endless chorus of ribbit, ribbit, ribbit helps them to go to sleep, and they get a good night's sleep. So we'll call it right there. They break camp, and the next episode they will continue on. At some point, as I realized, they don't really have a good idea of where this thing is. And as I was thinking about it, I know the legend, is to the northwest. And since it was from before the shift, the elves or dwarves could have been anywhere in Ravenland, but they they really have no idea where it is, just somewhere to the northeast. So, or to the northwest. But we'll call it there, and we'll see what happens next time. Thanks for joining along, and happy gaming.